Greetings, and welcome to episode 23 of Morrowind Modding Showcases. I'm your host, Dark Elf Guy, and right away I'd like to apologise for how late this episode is. It was supposed to get aired last week, but we did run into some delays, over the holidays and some video corruption and audio codec errors. In any event, we do have 13 more mods for your viewing pleasure this week, and as always you can find the download links down in the description below. Now why don't we go ahead and get started with our popular mod of the week. Which this week is More Detailed Places 2013 by Ragox and Zaldir. This mod, as the name implies, adds a lot more details to the towns, cities and forts of Morrowind. This consists of a lot of small detail clutter like crates, barrels, sacks, but also flora like flowers, grass, trees and even rocks, to really make places feel more alive. Here you can see Caldera with these new additions, including small gardens like this one. There's also new street merchants in several cities that sell wares, as you can see here. And you can also see that a lovely bar has been added to Nissus. Many cities have also seen all new additions, with new buildings like Saran here. Including lovely new interiors, naturally. Velothi in particular has seen a large facelift, with new buildings and details. Including a new trader, finally providing some basic services to this small fishing town. There's even new dungeons added here and there for you to explore. Like this one here. Overall, this mod adds some well-needed details to the world to truly immerse you in exploring the cities of Ardenfell. For our house mod of the week this week, we have Mistletoe Manor by Crankrilla. This mod adds a new home to Pelesiad, right near the fort. Inside is a rather cozy interior, with a lovely kitchen. And a small study space. There's a decent amount of storage space, naturally, as well as a lovely alchemy lab. And of course a bedroom that's cozily snugged away into the corner. This week's gameplay mod of the week is Morrowind Jobs by LegoMan IM94. This mod adds simple jobs to Morrowind, covering a number of professions, such as alchemy. And as you can see here, there's a lot of options available. When you take a job, you can get supplies for it from your employer. And then it's just a matter of making the item in question. When you're done, you can turn in the tasks to get 5 gold, at least at first. There's a promotion system in place, so eventually you'll be able to earn more gold for the same task. You can also do smithing jobs, which include crafting new stuff and repairing damaged items. Repairing items requires an anvil and an equipped hammer. There's also cooking jobs at taverns, where you can prepare meals for a few septims. And this uses the rather in-depth crafting system introduced by this mod, as you can see here. And just like Skyrim, you can chop wood for gold. You can even do some axe swinging to better immerse yourself in the experience. In any event, these are only a few of the several job types available. And now there's more ways than ever to make gold in Morrowind. For our town model week this week, we have Saran extended by Printer Stopper. This is a large expansion of Saran, vastly increasing the size of the city along the road out of town. As you can see here, this expansion mostly hugs the hillsides. The main attraction here is a new resort, capitalizing on the gem of the Ascadian Isles, with a number of different suites and rooms for rent. If you're poor, you can get a basic room like this one. Or if you have a lot more gold, you can rent an entire house, including a kitchen, bathroom, living space, and a bedroom. Not to mention an icebox filled with assorted goodies. You can also visit lovely cafes, with a number of new food items, and participate in local treasure hunts. And naturally, there's a souvenir shop, where you can rent a boat on the rivers of the Ascadian Isles, or just buy a number of trinkets. Next up is our items mod of the week, and this week we have Unit and Titus outfits by Arcane. This mod adds 2 new outfits to the trade house in Cedar, one for Titus and one for Unit from Final Fantasy X. Here you can see the Titus outfit on my character, perhaps not the best fit for him. And here you can see the unit outfit. Which is indeed quite stylish. This week's quest mod of the week is Quirt's Airship by Quirt and Lingon. With this mod you'll find the in-game representation of Quirt in Seedanin, and he will give you a quest to build a flying ship. This will cost quite a bit of gold, and involve collecting wood from across the Bitter Coast region, as you can see here. As you progress, the ship will begin to take form. First as a simple frame, then as an entire hull. The entire process of building a ship will take about 7 or so fetch quests. And once finished, you'll have a functional airship. But the fun doesn't stop there. You can collect additional ship upgrades from NPCs around Vvardenfell. Now this is a real working airship, which requires fuel you can collect in the wilderness. And you can control it, like any other ship mod, as you can see here. Now you can truly fly the skies of Vvardenfell. With your only worry being cliff races. Presumably, anyway. This ship does not have any cannons on it, I don't think. There's also a cabin for your personal use. With lots of storage space. And cool rising doors. So while you're traveling the skies, you're always at home. Next up is our Landmass Mod of the week, and this week we have Modtown 2004 by the Morrowind Modding Community. Now you may remember that we released a trailer for this mod just the other week, commemorating its 10-year anniversary. And what this mod does is add a new island to the game, built by a number of modders in the community back in 2004, as a place for them to live and talk about their creations in the game world. It was an anything goes project, so there's a lot of creative builds made by some 20 or so modders to check out. The island is also populated by a number of NPCs. And there's a main quest to be found here as well, involving a curse placed on the creators of Modtown that only the player can break. Each modder avatar has their own house, and most of them, like Baratheon here, will talk about their mods. You guys remember Baratheon, right? We showcased 2 of his mods on the channel in the past. And he's actually still semi-active in the community. You can also find the original README files, included as books as well. Some of the modders are clearly quite eccentric, as you can see here with Cryptic and his strange pillow fortress house. There's also a number of new NPC vendor services for you to peruse, such as this one here, which has a number of interesting gear options. There's also a number of sights to see, including scenic gardens, as well as some more curious looking buildings. Each modder has a very unique lair, as is only fitting for creative individuals. And each will tell you a bit about themselves and their current projects in 2004. Like Lady Eternity here, who was working on Dragon Breach, which was a total conversion that never did get finished, but had a ton of very original ideas at the time. There's even a player house for you to use during your stay on the island. Very considerate of those modders, isn't it? As well as dungeons for you to explore and fight through, as you visit this time capsule of the past. There has only ever been one other mod town, in 2006, but perhaps we can bring back the mod towns in 2015. One can only hope. For our NPC Mod of the Week this week, we have Children of Morrowind by Emma. This mod adds children to the game, typically found in every town and city with their own special animations, dialogue, and playgrounds. As you can see here, children will also play sword fights, or balance atop precarious sledges. And they'll also jump around. You can even find them practicing archery, or getting into fistfights. There's also a number of new items at shops, such as toys, candy, and fairy tale books. Here you can see a number of the new items included in this mod. And yes, it's perfectly normal for a grown adult to collect teddy bears, as well as some of the new books added to the game. Now you can try to give various gifts to children, but your success will be limited without parental consent. And indeed, it is very inadvisable to give gifts to children, especially candy. I mean, you are basically a stranger after all. And children don't care very much for money either. Hey kid, do you like candy? I've got a ton of candy in the back of my inconspicuous black wagon over there. Why don't you just hop right on in? Oh no, the constables! Needless to say, you should never do any of that in real life. Moving on, there are multiple age groups of kids. Like teens, as seen here. Or infants, like this one. Children of Morrowind really makes the game come more alive. This week's new Meshes and Textures mod of the week is Azura Statue Replacer by Colt17. This mod, as the name would suggest, replaces a statue of Azura with a beautiful new model and texture. That really makes Azura shine. Next up is our Modest Resource mod of the week, and this week we have Staff Stuff book sets. This resource simply adds 5 new book arrays that you can use in your own mods to make bookshelves that look detailed and cluttered. You can also use them as containers, which saves a lot of time in hand detailing shelves. For our underrated mod of the week this week, we have New Saran by The Wanderer. This is an expansion of Saran, once again along the north side of town, though there is a compatibility version with Saran Extended, should you want to play both. This expansion includes a new residential and commercial district, as you can see here. As well as a new docks area, with transport across the Ascadian Isles. Included with this expansion is a number of new services, such as a bookseller, as well as an alchemist with a number of brews. Not to mention a new smithy. You can also craft custom armors for you. As well as sell some high-end gear. There's also a few residential manors, like this one. And a few quests for you to do. There's also a massive services hall with dozens of vendors. And even guild representatives from each main faction. So there's plenty to see and buy. And of course, there's a new tavern as well. This week's Blast from the Past mod of the week is Wolf Manor by Killer Wolf. This mod adds a new manor to the outskirts of Nissus, and inside is a rather large abode, with NPCs that you can command, as you can see here. This goes for the guards as well. Indeed, you can even change the type of armor your guards are wearing, as you can see here. There's also massive display halls, including storage chests, and a number of display cases. As well as dozens of working mannequins. And there's a large dining hall, complete with a fully stocked bar. And there's a cozy kitchen, naturally. You'll also find a large library, with plenty of display room. Which also includes an alchemy lab. You may even discover a manufacturing room, where you can duplicate items. As seen here. It does cost a pretty septum though. Naturally, there's a bedroom as well, where you can store your stuff, and rest if needed. And there's a teleport item included. Finally, for our bonus mod of the week this week, we have the Alcoholics Guild by Anti-Scam. This is a simple mod that adds a new building to Sedanin, with a rather notable pile of bottles in front of it. Inside is the illustrious Alcoholics Guild, with all the evidence of hard-working drinkers, each of which is a rather unique character. This is simply a fun little world detail mod, with a curious band of NPCs to check out. That's it for this week. As always, you can find the download links for each mod down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this episode, do please leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you all next week, hopefully on time, with another 13 mods for your viewing pleasure.